Please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Assalamualaikum. Hi. Now we are going to present about the Constitution Monarchy. Our group members first is Muhammad Akmal Nazmi bin Zaidi 201192. Second is Nur Arif Wajdi bin Nur Azam 202068. And last, Nur Farah Adlina binti Amal Adli 202365. So, we enjoy.
First of all, for the introduction, let me explain about the concept of constitutional monarchy. Firstly, for the definition, according to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, the term of constitutional monarchy means a system of government in which a country is ruled by a king and queen whose power is limited by a constitution. In a constitutional monarchy, the power is shared between the monarch and a constitutionally organized government such as the parliament or another legislative body. The monarchical government is established under a constitutional system which acknowledges an elected or hereditary monarch as head of state. The monarch may be the de facto head of state or a purely ceremonial leader. The monarch's political powers are very limited, and their duties are mostly ceremonial. Instead, the real governmental power is exercised by a parliament or similar legislative body overseen by a prime minister. While the monarch may be recognized as the symbolic head of state and the government might technically function in the name of the queen or king, the prime minister actually governs the country. Indeed, it has been said that the monarch of a constitutional monarchy is a sovereign who reigns but does not rule. Next, constitutional monarchy is the opposite of absolute monarchy, in which the monarch holds all power over the government and the people, and it is not legally bound by any constitution. A few examples for the country practicing constitutional monarchy include United Kingdom, Canada, Sweden, and Japan.
Next, I will present the summary of the report. Firstly, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong has rejected the government call of the state of emergency proposed by the Prime Minister. Many legal experts said this is too vague of DPA itself, where there is no such necessary proclamation. Professor Dr. Nik Ahmad Kamal Nik Mahmud said this is against the principle of law that the king decision must based on advice by Prime Minister. It was stated in the Article 150, subsection 1 of the Federal Constitution. The article read, if the Yang di-Pertuan Agong is satisfied with the grave emergency exists, whereby the security or the economic life or public order in the Federation or any part thereof is threatened, he may issue a proclamation of emergency, making therein a declaration to that effect. And he also added that YDPA was listened to all the views of people before making the decisions. He also said it was an indication that YDPA is not influenced by the political and gives signal to all the politicians to think about welfare of the people rather than take advantage of the worsening situations. And then, lawyers and constitutional expert Nizam Bashir said there were two schools of thoughts regarding Article 150. Firstly, the power to declare an emergency was discretionary power of the king as contained in the Article 40 subsection 2, while the other said it is non-discretionary power as per Article 150, which means The emergency should on the advice of the Prime Minister.
Analysis report. So, this report is about the Yang di-Pertuan Agong decision to reject the government's call for a state of emergency. It has been described as a crucial development in the role of constitutional monarch in Malaysia. The important point from the decision is that the king has refused the advice of the prime minister in regard to the declaration of a state of emergency. And this goes against the established principle of law that the king acts on the advice of the prime minister when a state of emergency has requested. So we can refer from the per article 115 clause 1 of the federal constitution. It was suggested that the king might have acted on his own discretion. So the article reads, if the Yang di-Pertuan Agong is satisfied that a grave emergency exists whereby the security or the economic life or public order in the federation or any part thereof is threatened. So he may issue a proclamation of emergency, making therein a declaration to that effect. So the phrase is satisfied connotes discretion, and it have been given a new meaning this time. Now we are going to discuss about the relation between the constitutional monarch and the report. So what we can see clearly that the king exercised his power to refuse the advice of the prime minister in regard to the declaration of a state emergency, to give priority to the interest of the rakyat, to the interest of the people, rather than raise issues for political mileage. They were concerned that the king acts on the advice of the cabinet, but it is also important to realize and take into account that the king would ensure the institution of monarchy would not be influenced by the politics, whether it is government or opposition. The king, as the ultimate authority of the country and in his superior capacity in the federation, acts above politician or political parties. This is because the institution of monarchy is given the trust by the law and constitution, in that it has to ensure whatever decision made are for the ultimate importance for the people. Although the ruler and the overwhelming majority of the people are of the opinion that the pandemic, though serious, does not justify the just suspension of democratic politics, then the king had a strong belief in the ability of the government under the leadership of the prime minister to continue implementing policies and enforcement action to curb the COVID-19 transmission. It is also a signal to all other politicians to think about the welfare of the people before striving to gain political advantage in the light of the worsening economic situation and increasing threats from the pandemic. The constitutional monarch adds another layer of check and balance against arbitrary anti-democratic acts by the government of the day.
Lastly, for the conclusion, the importance of constitutional monarchy can be seen in how it can balance the political and make the people united, as it is a symbol of national unity. It's usually because the king needs to ensure that the institution of monarchy would not be influenced by the politics and ensure whatever decisions made is for the ultimate significance of all people. If the constitutional monarchy does not exist, there will be an abuse of power by the monarch because there is no sharing of power between the king and government, which basically can lead to be check and balance in the use of power. That's all from us. Thank you.